Okay, this is a quick review, I suppose. So there's not going to be that much substance to it, but well, let's just beat to the summary, I think, on this one. Today we're going to review Gradius III for the Super Nintendo. And how can I summarise Gradius in a nutshell? Hell, Gradius is hard. I mean, I think of myself as a casual gamer. I've been around a fair few games over the decades. I've played as many genres as possible, and I've cut my teeth on hard as nails controls and gameplay difficulty. Yeah, playing the likes of the Amstrad and Spectrum back in the day. A $1.99 game on there was $1.99 purely because of the graphical quality, the time it took to produce, but they knew how to make those ones last. If it said it had a few hundred screens on it, they were damn sure they were going to make those 100 screens really last you. But this is a whole new level of pain. Yet it's still fun. Probably down to the sheer amount of power-ups you get during an average gameplay session. And you have to thank coin-up roots in this respect. Sure, the first grind is slowed down. Yeah, it happens thanks to the Snes' limitations, which, yeah, depending on your view, is either an advantage or a mass. Yeah, it could be an advantage when you're dodging bullets, or one hell of an annoyance, yeah, when the sound and the screen are chugging along and, yeah, your sprite count reduces just to try and push that CPU a little bit more just to catch up. So it takes you out of the game somewhat as you gradually progressing through to the final boss of each level. And yet, yeah, comparing this to the arcade version, which I can easily remember heady days at Western Supermare and Weymouth, and real, and actually quite a few other, yeah, seaside resorts around the UK. There was a period during the 80s where I could almost guarantee each of my summer holidays I could lose so much money just pumping it into this game and yet never getting bored, much to the frustration of my parents and grandparents wanting to try and drag me out of the arcades just so we could spend a bit of time on the beach and just do things as a family. And yeah, while it was all done in moderation, I have fond memories of certain arcade titles. They're ones that will never leave me, and this is one of them. And yet, yeah, you can customise the loadout with usual missiles, bombs, lasers, as per every shoot 'em up of the era. And the bosses are incredibly inventive, and I really can't stress this enough. When you nail the pattern and the formula that it takes to maneuver around the projectiles firing at you in all directions, and the period of availability when their weakness opens up that you can get those shots in, so you can work out that final route to commence their destruction. The euphoria you get from defeating that boss, even on a couple of quid, it's almost a rite of passage in an arcade. You can play any other game and just have a quick session, and no, you get some enjoyment out of it. Quick round Street Fighter, the Blitz and old Paperboy, and you can aim for a high score. But this is one of those games that if you were good and you could blitz through the first couple of levels, people noticed. And that's a thing again. The levels, each are so varied to each other, and the sprite work changes from stage to stage. It's enough to keep you interested throughout the entire length of the game. And yes, it has a massive difficulty spike, but again, it's just it's just as enjoyable to want to get through, to see those end credits, to know you did it. And what makes it, I suppose, more fun for me is knowing that Gradius III was a launch title for the Super Nintendo. It's one of the famous 5 that was released on day one, that every shop had to garner attention, alongside the likes of SimCity, Pilot Wings, F-Zero, and Super Mario World. We all know which one turned up in a few pack-ins, but also if you bought the console-only system, which one of those games people were more likely to go and get afterwards. There's no prizes for working out which one of those was the massive system seller. But yet Gradius is a classic. It's a great game to pick up and a great game to play even now. It's a must-have in any Snes collection. It's one of those games that, like Super Mario World, like Zelda, and many others, that I do say, if you have an original copy, get something like a Recon 5, a Recon 3, or an original Snes unit. Brush off the cartridge, plug it in, and just enjoy. Oh, the Recons, obviously, with their FGPA systems, do push for a lower lag rate. And even with the Mister systems of nowadays, through emulation, you will get exactly the same kind of experience as well. It is just such a wonderful title to play. It holds up so well. And it's something I feel that, even if you've got the Snes Mini, there's a tempting prospect to get it modded, to have it added on there. Now, of course, that's not to say there is Gradius III is nowadays, particularly box copies as well, a fairly expensive proposition to grab hold of for an original cartridge. If you were lucky to have one back in the day, or you were lucky enough to grab it cheaply during the early noughties when no one was really picking up SNES titles, then amazing. Pick it up, brush it down, play it. If you're like a lot of people who sold their copy on, moved on to other things, missed it completely because you were on the Mega Drive side of things, maybe, there is a cheaper route. There's a cheaper route to access it legally still. There is a copy on the PlayStation, which does eliminate a lot of the issues in terms of lag, screen ripping, basically reduced sprite counts, etc. Thanks to the 32-bit architecture, that it does give you more of an arcade perfect representation. That one is hilariously cheaper. See eBay for prices, but it is worth a play nonetheless. But yeah, summarising the whole review really, and I did think it was going to be a bit shorter than it was. This is a play it, and it's rare I give a 5-star for anything, and I'm not giving this with rose-tinted glasses. This game holds up today as well as it did on launch, and that is wonderful. For more reviews like this, check out that retrovideogamer.com for the latest news, reviews, retro footage, retro reviews, and everything else in between. Until then, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care.